Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another weekly video with Back to Divinity. Okay, so this week I'm super excited as we will be talking about astrology. So we're going to be talking about this big shift, which I'm sure you've heard about because it's been all over social media, as astrology is a topic that is a lot more discussed nowadays, which I'm excited about. But Pluto, a really, really important planet, although really, really tiny, has a lot of energy and will be shifting from the sign of Capricorn into the sign of Aquarius on November 19th. So that coming up, I did want to spend some time talking about it, especially with the election that just passed, and you'll see the correlation as we dive in. So Pluto, what is Pluto? Pluto, which is debatable in terms of people saying if it's a planet or not, but whatever, it is a planet and we will talk about it. Pluto being the farthest out that rotates from the sun, it takes longer to get around. And so that being said, that is why it is called a generational planet. It takes about 248 years for Pluto to complete its cycle across all 12 zodiac signs. That being said, it can take roughly anywhere between 12 to 30 years in one sign before it shifts to the next. Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. And the last time in which Pluto was in Capricorn was in the 1770s. So we are going to spend some time today diving into the shift and what it means for us on a global scale. I will be highlighting America, and you will see why as we get into it. But on a global scale, we will all be impacted by this shift. So Pluto, already mentioned that it's a generational planet, and already mentioned that it spends a lot of time in one sign, hence setting the tone for a generation. However, Pluto is also ruled by Scorpio energy. As we all know, because we are in Scorpio season right now, it is a very intense time. Scorpio energy is an intense energy, right? Scorpio is death and rebirth. Scorpio is asking us to look at the darker parts of things, the hidden things, right? The things that are behind or underneath the surface. Scorpio being a water sign, right? The depth of things. And so that being said, Scorpio energy can represent the veil, right? The veil between that of the earth realm and the spirit world, or that of the 3D and the 5D, right? But thinking a little bit deeper about how Scorpio energy gets us to dive into the things that are a little bit unseen or untouchable, right? The non-tangible things. So that being said, the hidden aspects. Pluto energy, just like anything in the world, which Back to Divinity has talked about, holds a lot of duality, right? Duality exists in everything. And as a Gemini, I understand that on a personal level, but I also understand that largely, right? Duality is something that's super important to think about because Pluto is not only asking for things to destruct, right, in terms of the death part of things, but it's also asking for things to be highlighted and rebuilt, right? And so that is the dual nature of Scorpio. It is asking for us to think about what are the hidden things here that need to be brought to light, right? And how can we then use that and change that and alter it and rebuild from it and rise up from the ashes, right? Like a phoenix rising. How can we tap into that energy? And so Pluto, when it's shifting from different signs and spends that time in that sign, it is impacting us on a global scale. It is asking us to highlight the darker parts and the hidden aspects and the darker truths around that sign's energy, and to think about how can we rebuild from that. So Pluto being in Capricorn from 2008 to 2024, let's dive into Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy represents power, authority, institutions, societal structures, right? Earth's resources as an earth sign, our relationship to work, that go-getter mentality, right? Things of that sort is Capricorn energy. Before we even dive into this time with Pluto in Capricorn, I want to think about the last time that Pluto was in Capricorn before 2008, which was roughly 250 years ago. So in 1776, as we all know, America became America. And that being said, that was the last time that Pluto was in Capricorn. 2 years later, following that, Pluto shifted into Aquarius from 1778 to 1798. There was that change in the global structure in terms of the power structure as a global society, right? Things shifted. We started to see an imbalance of power, right? We started to see an imbalance of resources, right? As a result, and things of that sort. And so all of that shifted through Aquarius energy as a result of what formed in Pluto in Capricorn. And so that's something that's going to be highlighted for us now. What happened in Pluto and in Capricorn energy that is now going to be shifted as Pluto goes into Aquarius. So let's dive into the present moment a little bit more and the near past. 2008 to 2024. Lots of things happened, right? We elected our first Black male president. We also had Black Lives Matter. We also had the riot at the Capitol. We also had Fund the Police. We also started to see larger acceptance around LGBTQ+. A lot of different things in terms of power, authority, institutions, all types, religious, educational, things of that sort. All of those things were highlighted, right? Higher education was highlighted. There were a lot of different themes in regards to institution energy, power, and authority, and societal structures largely that were highlighted from Pluto being in Capricorn. The election happening while Pluto is just exiting Capricorn right into Aquarius is super significant and not coincidental. So let's dive into now Pluto in Aquarius. Oh, also, climate change was highlighted as well with Pluto in Capricorn, Earth's resources, and it'd be very interesting to see how Pluto in Aquarius will continue to highlight that. So now, Pluto in Aquarius. What is Aquarius, right? Aquarius energy is revolutionary, right? It is rebellion. It is wanting to be independent. It is wanting to be free, right? Aquarius energy is technology, right? It's more of an advanced energy. It's social media, right? It is humanitarian. It is healing, right? That is Aquarius energy. So it'd be very interesting to think about what is going to be highlighted for us now and how will we continue to see those shifts. We've already started to see some of these things be brought up, right? Because Pluto first shifted into Aquarius back early in 2024, then it went back into in Capricorn to do its last minute closure of Capricorn energy right before it's about to, move forward into Aquarius for the next 20 years. So let's think about it. Again, the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, we did have the American Revolution, the French Revolution, right? And other just rebellion-like energies that, again, did change the power structures as a global society. And so it'd be very interesting to see how now we will start to see that change, right? How is it that Pluto and Aquarius will start to shift the power structures? I mean, we do have 2 wars or more going on in the global structure right now. How will those shift as a result of Pluto shifting into Aquarius? How is it that the results of this election will shift that of the power structures in America? How will that then have an effect on the global structure, right? It'd be also interesting to see how institutions generally, in terms of societal structures that were highlighted in Capricorn, such as educational, religious, and all things of that sort, how will those start to shift in a way that brings more freedom and independent energy? How will we start to see more rebellion energy and revolutionary energy in a way that gets people to break away from the institutions that were holding them back, right? How will we start to see that? That could look like small businesses. That could look like more independent schooling options. That can look like more independent contractors. That can look like larger institutions falling apart, right? Things of that sort. It's also important to think about Aquarius energy in terms of healing. We will start to see healing on a deeper level happening in a way that uplifts the community, right? If you're into tarot, Aquarius energy is represented by the star card. The star card is not only our dreams, hopes, and desires, but it is also that healing energy. Spirituality might start to increase in a way that brings people more freedom, more healing on a collective level, which raises the collective consciousness, which raises the vibration of Earth. In whatever way you associate with that, whether it's through a spiritual lens or whether it's just through a scientific lens, it is actually proven that the frequencies of Earth are rising. Right? And we'll start to see a continuance of that as Pluto shifts further into Aquarius energy, which I'm super excited for. Not only that, AI was just introduced, right? And that also happened as we're shifting into Aquarius energy. It'll be very interesting to see how the presence of AI continues to grow and what that will mean for the rest of the globe, right? Technology generally, as we're thinking about Earth's resources, right? And now we're going into air energy, right? The mind. How will we start to use our mind a little bit more in a way that becomes a power tool to shift some of the darker aspects that we saw come up with climate, right? How will we develop certain tools and things of that sort to help, uplift Earth's resources, right? How will we start to see more freedom generally? How will we start to see social media grow, right? Social media has already grown tremendously. How will that also start to grow, right? And again, there's duality in everything. So Pluto will start to shine the darker lights of Aquarius energy as well. But it will also shine the light upon the upside of Aquarius energy, the upside of technology, the upside of social media, the upside of healing, the upside of revolutionary change, right? Things of that sort will also be highlighted. So this is not to have you fear or to be overly optimistic. It will be a bumpy ride because that is Pluto, right? Pluto is asking you to first dip in before going back up in waves, right? We will be along for a ride here, but ultimately it is for our utmost evolution, right? And so how will we start to see the things that were highlighted with Pluto and Capricorn shift in a way that helps us evolutionize as a global society, right? How will we start to see the structures shift and alter in a way that hopefully, again, unites us, right? Because Aquarius energy is not asking for us to be polarized. Now, as much as it loves independent energy, as much as it loves freedom, it is also a very humanitarian sign, right? So how will we start to see the collective shift into more of a community-focused energy, right? And how will that be highlighted over the next 20 years? And again, it's 20 years. So this is not something that is going to happen overnight. This is something that is going to slowly progress over time. The biggest focus right now is to think about those Aquarius themes and how it will actually change us in a global way. And again, I did highlight America here, of course, because thinking about the last time that Pluto was in Capricorn in 1770s, now going into Aquarius energy as it did prior, where we did see that impact the global structure and the power structure. And so it'd be very interesting to see how that alters this time around. And again, do not fear, do not tap into polarized energy, do not tap into the lower vibrations, right? Because again, that just keeps you stuck. And all that we want to do at this point is tap into the higher vibration of things in every way which possible. Back to Divinity encourages you to do it in your daily life. And now Back to Divinity is encouraging you to do it on a larger scale, right? How can you tap into the higher frequencies here and tap into the lighter energies of Aquarius to help evolutionize us as a community and as a whole rather than tearing us apart? Again, it is not about proving a point. It is about uplifting and having others follow as they learn as well. Alrighty, folks, that is pretty much it for the larger scale here. But I do encourage each and every one of you to think about how Pluto will affect you in a more minuscule level, in a more individual way, right? How is it that Pluto shifting into Aquarius is going to impact you? And the way to do that is to think about where does Aquarius fall in your chart? And that is where Pluto will be having its major transit, in that house of yours. So dive into that, apply Aquarius energy to that sign, to that house, apply Scorpio energy to that house, and dive in. Alrighty, folks, it was a pleasure talking about this shift. I'm super excited to think about how this shift will impact us moving forward as a collective and as a global society. Alrighty, thank you for listening. Share with others who are interested, and have a good one.